3 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. If you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 336-464-1806. Mark, 2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. Stations, we're coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, mark. 1 minute stations, 1 minute until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studios, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime on my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Coming up on 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds, stations. Have fun.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Rice Sports Network. On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield, live from Palace Social. Welcome to the José Cruz Jr. Show. The José Cruz Jr. Show is brought to you by IBEW Local Union 716, by Carbot, crafted for serious fun, and by Palace Social, one of Houston's premier entertainment and event destinations, offering high-end food and cocktails, bowling, virtual reality, arcade, and so much more. Now, to lead things off, along with the coach, here's the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes. Welcome back here. Another edition of the José Cruz Jr. Show at Palace Social, 4191 Bel Air Boulevard. Palace Social, family-friendly restaurant, entertainment, and event venue. Short drive from Rice University. Bowling lanes, high-end food, craft cocktails, and they got VR, virtual reality, much more. This is an amazing venue. If I don't say that every week, that is still not enough. They've got a big crowd here. Bowling, video games, it is everything. I still haven't gotten a taste of the ice cream bar out there. Maybe shame on me, but you can book your next event at palacesocial.com. Good food, good friends, good times at Palace Social. Saw old Rice buddy Billy running around here earlier. I don't see him at this second, but Billy Forney and the folks do a great job. We appreciate them so much partnering up. On today's show, we, of course, wrap up that series out west against UTSA. 3 games with 3 big, somewhat similar storylines, but Coach will wrap those up. It was a tough weekend for the Owls, but still a lot of positives coming out of that. And we'll also talk to a guy that we've been wanting to get, two guys we've been wanting to get on the show. We knew they'd be coming on the show. They had really good weekends at the plate. The one and only Drew Holderbach. Drew, appreciate it. Yeah, he's like, I didn't know you were going to call me out. Now, appreciate Drew. We'll ask him what it's like coming down here to Big Texas from Ohio, among other things. And we have Pride of Corpus Christi, among other spots, the one and only Big Ben Royo on the show. Owls shortstop extraordinaire, chowing down on some good grub right now. And likewise for DC Arendas, Director of Player Development. Did I butcher it? I get it. I got it. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I was telling him, I just want to make sure. I've seen it in print, but we got it right. And then Coach comes back and we preview the upcoming busy week of baseball. Tomorrow and Wednesday, the Owls have some home games. It's another 5-game week. Incarnate Word Cardinals coming in, head coach Ryan Schatzberger. Owls have had some wild games against Incarnate Word in the past, and already 2 wild games against the Cougars, as you probably know this year, the Silver Glove. And they play the Cougars again, and Coach Whitting's bunch, first place in the AAC, just off their series win against Wichita State. That's coming up Wednesday night. And then this weekend, we're going back through Nashville again and then bussing a bit to Bowling Green, Kentucky to take on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Head coach Mark Rardin, very much improved Hilltoppers team. 12-12 in a 3-way tie for 5th place in the Conference USA tournament. But we'll touch on them a little bit. And the Hilltoppers have been very, very much improved this season. But stay tuned. Coming up next, Coach Cruz will come up to the high table, and we'll talk about this weekend, some of those storylines. We are live on Facebook and YouTube and also the audio channels as well. Varsity Network app, ricehouse.com, and the Rice Owls Game Day app. Stay with us. Coming back, Jose Cruz Jr. It is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show live here from Palace Social from Learfield.
Have no post-game plans? You do now. Head down the street to Little Woodrow's in Rice Village and relax over indoor and outdoor games, sports, and drink specials that a college student can't refuse. All you have to do is bring your student ID to enjoy $2.50 domestic drafts. Also, don't miss out on our Thursday college nights, as we've got $2 domestic drafts and $3 shot specials. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on all of our upcoming events and specials. Little Woodrow's, the official Rice Owls Game Day headquarters.
DoubleTree by Hilton Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites is the preferred hotel for anybody visiting the Medical Center, the Museum District, or Rice University. We offer the largest suites in the Medical Center, complete with full kitchens, and our full-service restaurant and outdoor pool will make your stay complete. We look forward to having you experience the DoubleTree by Hilton Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites soon. And if you need a group rate or 10 or more rooms, don't forget to call 713-528-7744. That's 713-528-7744.
Owls fans, you may not think of yourself as an athlete, but everyday life is full of athletic feats. You bend, you reach, you lift, you twist until back, neck, or shoulder pain hits, which brings you to a stop. So whether you're an athlete or not, the Joint Chiropractic can help ease your pain and keep you on the active list. Visit any of our 40-plus Houston area locations or thejoint.com today to get your first consultation, exam, and adjustment for just $29. The Joint Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of Rice University Athletics.
Welcome back to the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes, back at Palace Social here for the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. This show and Dos Mas after this one. The rest of the weeks, rest of the Mondays of the season. Joined now by Bixby Family Head Baseball coach of our Rice Owls, Jose Cruz Jr. Jose.
How are you? I didn't know your Spanish got so good.
Hablo un poco español, pero no mucho. I know we can talk about that. Manny Garza is kind of my de facto Spanish. He's helped me out. I waited tables at a younger day. I learned the good stuff, Coach. But it was obviously a rough weekend out there. And I said last week, I don't want to come on and browbeat things. But what did you see coming out of that one? Obviously that you like, but there were some of the same patterns that happened in the DBU series, playing a very tight team close for a lot of the way. It just got away late in some of those games.
Well, I think we're doing some really good things, and unfortunately we're not getting the results we want at the end of the day, and it's kind of the streak's been a few weeks too long. So, I mean, I thought we had a really good game plan against their starter, Luke Malone. We went at him just right. We made life very difficult for him. We scored a bunch of runs. He didn't know what was happening, and we showed some power overall on the weekend. We had some guys show up really on the offensive side and do some really good things and make it tough for him. I mean, credit to him that he still gutted out 6 innings out of that. We would have definitely loved to have taken him out earlier than that, but he did that much. But I mean, we were up. We made some errors, I thought, on the field that cost us some runs. I think it cost us probably 4 runs early in the game that wish we would have got those back. But that's just kind of how it's going. But I mean, we did put up a good fight. They brought in their ace reliever in Simon Miller, and he's difficult. He's a difficult matchup, and they closed the game out. But I mean, just knowing that we had the lead going into, I want to say, the 7th inning before everything kind of turned around for them. But the same thing happened. Seemed like something similar happened every day. It seemed like we had the lead every day in that weekend. So it is a good sign that how we are approaching, how we approach the game on the offensive side. I think we're making good plays defensively, at times great plays, but I mean, we just got to make sure we just give their team 27 outs and leave it at that. Especially a team like UTSA, offensively, I think arguably you can say that they're the best offensive team in the conference. They are tough. They are a tough group. They're relentless. Their lineup is very long. They have, I'd say, probably one of the best hitters in the conference. Also in the middle, in Valdez, switch hitter. He's really good player. They're very fundamental. I mean, I think maybe their first baseman defensively is so-so, and everybody else is really good in the infield. They're just very fundamental for the most part. They don't make mistakes, and they just keep coming at you, and sometimes the dam breaks, and sometimes you're able to pull it off. So I mean, it was very similar. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we're gonna have to find a way to hold the lead. I mean, we're doing a good enough job offensively to keep the lead or to get the lead, and we're going into late in the game. So, I mean, at some point we're going to have the lead and keep it. We just got to keep giving ourselves that opportunity.
And the bullpen has had some good stretches this year. How do you try to address that? But you have guys that have had a lot of quality innings. But how do you try to make that adjustment on the fly with some of those guys?
I think they feel it and they want to do well, and it just comes down to them trying. They all want to do so well just for the team, and I think in that they're forgetting the task at hand and just executing the pitch and just taking it pitch by pitch, and they're just going at it real hard and getting themselves in trouble when they should just do what's made them successful. So like Long's a great example. I mean, he's been a guy that in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 appearances before the last one, he's been really, really good. I mean, very dominant, right? So we're thinking you bring him in after Parker, and Parker usually is pretty dominant. Like, it would have been nice for him to go 5 or 6 innings or maybe 7 and then bring in Long. But he was laboring. It was really hot. He was not as efficient as we would have liked to seen, and so we brought in Long because thought he was fresh. We had plenty of bullets behind him, and he pitched well the first inning, but his command was a little bit off, and then he started throwing the ball over the plate, missing spots, and they were just jumping all over him, and then basically that was the game on Friday, and then we did fairly well on Saturday. It was basically like an instant replay, which is really annoying. And then at the end of it, I mean, we had Hamilton who was pitching, and he tried to grind it out. He was not feeling well arm-wise, so we hope that he's okay and nothing major with his arm. And then Perkins wasn't very efficient, and Rosh came in, pitched well, and Cienfuegos had some bad luck. So then he's pressed, and then all of a sudden he's supposed to back up home plate, doesn't back up home plate. So it's like, it's all these little things that have just come back to haunt you at the end of the day. But we've addressed it. we have to keep encouraging the guys to keep their head up and keep focused on the task at hand, keep giving them a plan to go about, how to go about winning. I think we've done a fairly good job, and DC can tell you, because DC helps with the game planning when it comes to the offensive side of it, and the guys are progressing. We see it every day. You see the fight in them. They always want to respond when the other team scores, and they've done a really good job about that the entire year, really. So we're in the games, man. We're just a matter of one little thing here, one little thing there. I mean, I have a lot of faith that that's going to turn around, and we're going to win games. And once we start winning games, we're not going to stop.
The Saturday game, there was about a 2.5-hour weather delay with a little bit of rain. I guess they had some lightning. What goes into that? Is that you, like, I guess at I didn't know if each park had the same stipulations, because I was looking up like, hey, it looks pretty good here. I was just wondering what that behind the scenes conversation is like.
That's it's just a rule. If lightning strikes within 8 miles, we stop the game. And that, I mean, again, weather has not been in our favor this year. It seems like against DBU, if we don't have a lightning delay or the weather delay, longs roll in, the next thing you know, long pitches the ninth, and we'll probably have a different story. And they were down, but they got life. They came back the next day, a lot of energy, and we couldn't pull it out. And then the same thing here. It's like we were rolling on the offensive side, and then all of a sudden here comes the lightning, and we're stuck for a while. And then the rhythm was tough to get until the end. And I want to say it was Olderback who hit a homer off of their main guy, Miller, which,
First all season he'd given up.
Yeah, we jumped his ERA a little bit, which is good. It goes to show that we keep going at everyone, no matter who you are. So that was really nice to see for us, and just to give us life there at the end. Just, again, came up like a little bit short. We were close again. We had a shot. But we just, again, keep grinding, get ready for the next at-bat, get ready for the next pitch, be prepared, and attack it. That's it. And that's what we can control, so that's what we're going to do.
Ball was flying, but that doesn't take away. The guys had some really good at-bats. Manny had a good weekend. How about Jack? He had a 6-hit weekend. Smiggy had the 2. I'm just throwing all these grenades at you here, and then Drew and Ben here tonight. I mean, it's the offense really clicking, and the power. Not that it wasn't there all season, but you passed your home run total from last season. It just seems like the weekend it all came together on the offensive side.
Yeah, for sure. We went through all the guys. We're trying to, again, give them something to think about, something, how to attack it, how to look for it, check the patterns, try to get themselves, put them in a good position. We try to make adjustments. I mean, we have our own language when it comes to making adjustments and getting yourself in a good position to hit all the time. We were given UTSA fits. I mean, Hallmark was like, "What are you guys doing? What are you doing? You guys are hitting really well. What are you saying to them? Do you have our pitches? What is the deal?" And
not Pat, no. Come on,
I know it, incredible. But he was talking very complimentary of our offense and what we've been able to do in a year. Which is great for him, because I was telling him how I appreciate watching their hitters and what they're doing, because they do something similar. All of the hitters do something similar on the mechanics side. So he was saying, we have a long process of getting guys in a certain position and teaching a particular swing, which, I mean, I could tell. And I was telling our guys, watch this. Look what they're doing. Look what they do with 2 strikes. Look how they check down. Look at the positioning. So, which is kind of interesting how to do it. I mean, what we do is a little bit differently. I have my own philosophy when it comes to on the offensive side and where you want to get to position-wise with your legs and all that good stuff, which I constantly telling, especially these 2 guys that are here today about, and when it comes to hitting and how to think about it and how to, redirect certain pitches and put yourself in position to succeed.
All right, speaking of those 2 guys, good segue, like we've been doing a few of these shows. A little bit about Drew and Ben coming up these next few segments. I think of them, they've had their good offensive moments, but defense has been spectacular plays from Ben, and Drew's been as solid as you can get there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Drew's very steady at first base. He is, I think he makes everybody in the infield better. I don't know how many errors he's saved on the infield, his ability to scoop the ball, his sure-handedness when it comes to ground balls hit to him, his understanding of where to be in his position is very high. So it definitely it's for what we had last year and the years before, because I remember watching it. It's definitely like a godsend to have just something steady there at first base to keep everybody in order. And he's more of a veteran presence as well, which is great. On the Royal side, I remember him coming out to our prospect camp, and I was telling Paul we wanted to commit him right then and there. It took a few months after, but we're glad he's here. And he was at one point the only shortstop we had coming in at one point until Max Johnson came. So he's been, I think, steadily improving. I think at the beginning of the year, I mean, if you recall, he was on the guys in the starting lineup. So I thought he played himself into that position. And it was like they're tough. College baseball is tough, and they gave him some fits early on. I mean, it's just a lot of breaking balls, and just you don't know, they throw hard, but it's just so much spin that you got to get used to it. Mm-hmm. And I think it was in Stanford. We just put him in to play shortstop. We're like, you know what? Let's just put him to play shortstop. He's been taking a bunch of grounders there. Like of all the places, he started at second base, but we're like, he's taking grounders short. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what he looks like at short then. And I thought the best play. You could probably argue the best play defensively that we've had this year was he made a play in Stanford that was up the middle where he dove and caught and threw a guy out at first, and I was impressed with that, and I was like, okay, well, he's our best defender at short, so let's just put him at short and give him an opportunity. I'm trying to guide him as much as possible when it comes to how to think about what's happening at the plate and putting him in position to succeed and just keep kind of progressing with it and with what he's doing. And he's a very good student. He's always asking questions about what to do. He wants to be better. I think he's way more comfortable defensively right now than ever, really. He's taking control of it. Made some great plays this weekend. So it's happening. He's progressing. It's progressing, and he's found success on the offensive side, which is great. Because once you start getting a rhythm, you can just ride that rhythm, and it's great. I mean, the power's there. And now the next thing, he's mixing a few singles here and there, and next, he has a monster. It'd be a monster year, because but the other stuff, the singles happen when you start thinking about it a little bit differently, because the power will come on good swings and mistake pitches. But it's really nice to see what's happening right now with him, and it's going to be interesting to see how, as he moves on and we put some pieces around him, to see how this lineup's going to be is something special and something to watch.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Jose Cruz Jr. of our Rice Owls. Speaking of, coming up next, we'll talk to Drew Holderbach of our Rice Owls. This is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show live at Palace Social from Learfield.
Big trip on the horizon? Before you depart, you gotta park. The Parking Spot is a simpler, easier way to navigate airport parking, and you can save when you book online. You're guaranteed a spot, and we even pick you up at your trunk in our yellow and black spotted shuttles and take you straight to the terminal. Parking and saving come full circle at the Parking Spot. The Parking Spot, proud sponsor of Rice University. Visit theparkingspot.com to reserve your spot today.
We interrupt your top 40 hits to issue this alert from the Karbach Brewing Company. In our efforts to brew our distinct and popular Hopadillo IPA, we have unwittingly created a monster. A monster with an insatiable thirst. A monster that will not stop until it gets what it wants. An ice-cold Hopadillo IPA. Just like the one I'm holding in my hand. Bold, flavorful, dry-hopped, irresistible. Go, sweet Mary! Hopadillo. Find it before it finds you. Bravely brewed in Texas by the Karbach Brewing Company.
Howdy Homemade Ice Cream is here. Howdy is an ice cream shop in Katy, Texas that makes ice cream in-house and has a unique mission to employ individuals that are differently abled. Stop by and enjoy some ice cream. With every scoop you buy, you help support employment for special needs. Coming to Rice Athletics venues in the fall.
Hey, it's JP here to tell you that, yes, there's more Rice Owls content out there for you to consume. Subscribe and download the official podcast of Rice Athletics, Rice Owls Insider. Rice Owls Insider provides a unique new look at a variety of head coaches, players, and other integral voices inside the Rice Athletics department. Plus, you can find archived coaches shows as well. For the best in Rice Owls content, subscribe to Rice Owls Insider, the official podcast of Rice Athletics. Available on Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Live at Palace Social, this is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. Now, alongside the coach, let's rejoin the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Welcome back here at Palace Social. A couple more of these, the rest of the regular season leading up to that conference tournament. Coming up next segment, we have shortstop Ben Royo, a guy he's throwing a lot to this season, is Owls. I call him a vacuum cleaner at first base there. Drew Holderbach. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Outstanding. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it. Yeah, what is it? Coach was saying that, raving about your defense. I mean, obviously some soft hands and you're veteran. Like, what do you attribute? A lot of coaching. What do you attribute the defensive prowess, so to speak?
I'd say the biggest thing for me was starting as a middle infielder, starting at another position. And the first time I ever played first base was actually my sophomore year of college. So the COVID year before that was the first time I ever was even used a first baseman, really. So I'd say starting there, getting a good feel for all infield just in general. And then it's just been, from that point, coaching. It's just been great from my time at Marietta to here with Coach Janish. It's just been a lot of help along the way.
So you played short and second. Your other college stop?
Yeah, I played my freshman year of college. I played second base.
Okay. Yeah. So speak to some of that recruitment, as I was not a Rice guy, Drew, but it takes me a while to connect the dots. But with Coach Janish, part of the recruitment, and from the Ohio area, and he obviously played for the Reds, was that the first contact you had to eventually come down here? And that had to have been a little bit surreal, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. My summer ball coach, he called me one morning during a class and at Marietta, and he said, you're going to get a call from Paul Janish. I don't know if you remember who that is. And I was like, yeah, I remember who that is, because he was the shortstop of the Reds from when I was I think it was when I was 8 to 10. So when I was going to Reds games every weekend, it seemed like. So
make sure to tell them that. Yeah.
It was kind of interesting to hear that. And then from there, it just kind of all happened. It all worked out to get down here.
So no, big Paul Janish posters on the bedroom, or baseball card of the spokes or anything like that?
No, not stuff like that.
Reds fan growing up, since close to Cincy, or any Indians? I don't know the lay of the land in you Ohioans.
No, I've been a huge Reds and Bengals fan my whole life.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. So I've asked basketball players this a lot. I don't know if I asked it to baseball players yet, but coming to Texas, were there any stereotypes that were affirmed or quickly brushed aside coming down here? Because Texans, we like to think sometimes, we're larger than life and all that. You know all that already. But how about that coming down to the big state and the big city and the big state?
There wasn't too much. The one thing I can think of is me and my roommate Max Johnson from Ohio too. We both went and got cowboy boots our first weekend here.
There you go.
We've been putting those to good use down here.
All right, you go to the rodeo then?
We did, yeah.
Okay, so you're in the club.
Yep.
Got some barbecue, some Tex-Mex, a little bit different than Ohio? Or?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. When I first talked to him, I talked about this weekend because Max coming back, and he was saying, I just love coming here because of the weather.
Oh, yeah.
Is that an adjustment? As obviously we haven't seen our hottest stuff yet, but how is that climate adjustment for y'all?
It's been awesome, not playing in the snow and everything. We've had games snowed out every year up in Ohio, so not having to deal with that was just great.
Yeah. So you go, I'm a small school guy too, you go from D3 and you skip some levels there. How was that adjustment for you? Because if nobody knew anything, they wouldn't look and say, oh, he's wildly adjusting to this new top tier of college baseball. How have you made it look pretty seamless there?
Yeah, it was actually a pretty big jump, I'd say. There's a lot of talent at that level for sure, but it's not as consistent day in, day out, seeing great arms that we've seen. From the time we started conference play, it seems like every single game, every single at-bats, you're going up there and you have to grind it out. It's going to be a tough at-bat. You got to have a good plan and go about it the right way. And, that's really been the biggest difference is every single day you're going up against some really good opponents.
Yeah, hit 408 last season, right, at Fairfield, so you're doing something right.
Yeah.
What was the other big adjustment? I mean, the pitching, obviously, but just, I mean, same number of games, or was there something else that stands out to you?
The D1 schedule is actually 16 games longer, so the season's definitely a lot more of a grind, playing every day instead of playing. And our conference schedule is actually just a doubleheader on Saturday. You have a couple days off, maybe play a midweek. So the everyday aspect of it actually has been a lot more of a grind than the other schedule, but it's been going pretty well.
Who were baseball influences for you growing up, or favorite players or role models?
Favorite players, definitely Joey Votto.
Okay.
But I'd say big influences are my dad, my 3 brothers, so just people like that.
Did your dad play high school, college?
He just
like
played in high school.
Okay.
Watched a lot of his softball games.
So red season tickets, anything like that? Or
not season tickets, but we went a whole lot.
Okay. Because Ohio's big in football, obviously, too. Did you play any other sports growing up?
I played football and basketball, and then I golfed a little bit in high school.
Okay. When did baseball start taking the main interest? Kind of like most guys get sophomore year, you kind of realize, hey, this is my ticket, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, it was really just baseball was the main priority from the start, I'd say. But really, like the later in high school I got, the more it was pretty much just focus on baseball and don't worry about the other ones.
I think the first time I actually said more than 2 words to you, we're at Minute Maid. And was that kind of, I don't know, coming of age or whatever, but was that kind of a surreal moment playing, even though it wasn't your team? Was that a kind of a different experience, I guess, than you had at Marietta?
Yeah, that was an awesome weekend. I played at the Red Stadium once in high school, so it wasn't my first time playing at a big league field, but playing in front of that many people, like against A&M that night, that was definitely a pretty good baseball memory, regardless of how that game turned out.
All right, rest of the way. You still got 2 full weeks of the regular season and hopefully a lot of ball after that. What have you, and like Coach called you, that veteran guy out there, what have you seen? What needs to kind of turn here to get things going? Because like everybody knows, you're so close there.
Yeah, I mean, we've been close a lot of this whole stretch we've been on, and it's been, we've had a lot of times where the offense has really been playing well, but the pitching hasn't been there, and then there's been times when the pitchers have been playing well and the offense hasn't been there. So I think when we put it all together and, if we get there in the conference tournament, we're going to be a team that you don't want to play against with your season on the line.
So Bengals Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
Again?
This year.
Yeah. It came close, a couple years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Okay. Hey, thanks a lot.
Yep.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Drew Holderbach of our Rice Owls, back and kicking and all that. Great defensive first baseman. Stay tuned. Coming up next, young Ben Royo. Big Ben will join us coming up next. This is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show live at Palace Social from Learfield.
Houston, we have a cocktail. All Hands Canned Cocktails are made with 6 times distilled craft vodka at a sturdy 10% ABV to ensure you never have to sacrifice the quality of your provisions. Now available in 6 natural flavors, including raspberry lemonade, ruby red grapefruit, cherry limeade, cranberry and vodka soda, and vodka tonic classics. Follow the adventure on Instagram at @DrinkAllHands and try these bar-strength cocktails for yourself at the next game. All Hands, damn fine cocktails. Proud sponsor of Rice Athletics.
Owls fans, you may not think of yourself as an athlete, but everyday life is full of athletic feats. You bend, you reach, you lift, you twist until back, neck, or shoulder pain hits, which brings you to a stop. So whether you're an athlete or not, the Joint Chiropractic can help ease your pain and keep you on the active list. Visit any of our 40-plus Houston area locations or thejoint.com today to get your first consultation, exam, and adjustment for just $29. The Joint Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of Rice University Athletics.
Have no post-game plans? You do now. Head down the street to Little Woodrow's in Rice Village and relax over indoor and outdoor games, sports, and drink specials that a college student can't refuse. All you have to do is bring your student ID to enjoy $2.50 domestic drafts. Also, don't miss out on our Thursday college nights as we've got $2 domestic drafts and $3 shot specials. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on all of our upcoming events and specials. Little Woodrow's, the official Rice Owls game day headquarters.
Welcome back to the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yep. Back here at Palace Social. Stay tuned. Coming up next segment, we have Director of Player Development, D.C. Arendis, and then Coach Cruz and I will break down Incarnate Word, look at those Cougars again, and maybe touch on Western Kentucky coming up this weekend. Joined now by a freshman that needs no introduction, but we'll do it anyway, number 18 on the Rice Owls roster, Big Ben Royo. How you doing, young man?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Any nicknames we can pass along? Because I'm sure you don't hear much of any of my broadcasts, but I'm filming 3 hours a night, Ben. I'm like, what do we call them? Like, do you have any that you're willing to share? Because sometimes that's like close kept here.
I don't know. I've just gone by Ben recently, but I've heard the Big Bens going around from the broadcast. I've gotten,
okay. Let's get back to you.
Heard it. Yeah, so that one's getting around, so I guess that one's sticking.
Does Mama call you Benjamin? Because I brush that off every now and then. Or is your brother?
my parents do call me Benjamin.
All
yeah.
right,
basically all my friends and everybody else I've gone with Ben.
All right, so I'll sprinkle that in, but not too much.
All right.
All right, so your transition to the D1 level has been fascinating, and as you were kind of filling in some of the blanks this weekend, coming from your high school Veterans Memorial, right, in Corpus Christi, in your own first-person account, describe that path. As Coach talked about that prospect camp, but there's a lot of other blanks to fill in there too. How did you end up at Rice?
Yeah, so I think my route to Rice was a little bit different than most people. I was a senior. I hadn't talked to anybody from Rice at all. I obviously knew about Rice baseball. If you're from Texas, you watch college baseball, you know about Rice. But I hadn't talked to anybody from there or much at all until my senior year, and then doing travel ball tournaments and things like that. And my head coach I think I played a tournament at Rice, and Janusz had seen me a little bit, nothing much. He liked me, and then my summer ball coach was like, "Hey, go to the Rice camp, and they Janusz liked you, and just go see what you can do over there." So, Coach Janusz called me the night before the camp, and I talked to him a little bit, and then I went over to the camp, and I did great, and I got to meet Coach Janusz and Coach Cruz, and I just fell in love with it, everything about it, the coaches, the facilities, just the atmosphere of everything about Rice, and I knew right there that's where I wanted to go, and it just played out later down the high school career. He came to watch me play a few games, and it was a done deal.
Yeah, and if I remember, Coach Janusz told me, like, good leading up to the season, fill in the blanks on some of the newcomers, said you grew, 5-6 inches between your junior and senior years, so you looked a lot different a couple years ago. So how much did that play into it?
Yeah, I was never a big kid in high school, so that probably played into my recruiting process. Freshman, sophomore year, I was always a smaller kid, so grew a little bit in my junior year, and then really grew into myself my senior year, and so my recruiting process was always a little bit later, and so I just kind of peaked at the right time, and everything played out perfect.
And you're also telling me about the rib injury. Like, what did that teach you and help you develop about the game and appreciate, because you missed a lot of your senior season because of that. But if that doesn't happen, maybe you're not sitting here right now.
For sure, yeah. I broke my rib right before my senior season. Again, I was uncommitted at the time, so that was a little scary and tough. I don't know how everything's going to play out. Luckily, I got back halfway through the season, and I think Coach Janusz came to watch second or third game back. Happened to hit 2 home runs in that game, and just everything just played out perfectly, and that was good enough for him to pull the trigger on me. And I had already told him, I was like, whenever you're ready, I'm ready to come, Coach. I'm just waiting on you to offer me.
Let's make this official.
Yeah, let's do it. So it happened, and I couldn't be more excited.
So you ascend up, and you're the opening day starting second baseman. You make a pretty quick switch over to shortstop. I know you'd played infield, of course, in high school, as most infielders do. What was that like coming in, starting second base, but almost like Coach diagrammed in his segment, almost immediately switching over to short? Was that any kind of adjustment, or was it so soon that it wasn't that big of a deal?
No, it wasn't too big. I played second and short. I mean, just like hand in hand. They were just no big deal. Actually, my high school career, I played mostly second base, actually. So.
Wow.
So playing second was like just drinking water. It was normal. It was just every day. But then making the move to shortstop, my senior year in summer, I actually started playing more shortstop, and I kind of like shortstop more. You see a little bit more action, you get to have more fun. So once I started playing short here, and I love it, and it's a little bit more fun than second. So
yeah, definitely get a lot of range both ways. And as we talked, Hal Hughes, who was shortstop last couple years, kind of enlightening me how you've got so much to think about when you're out there.
Yeah.
And so much. How tough is that balancing the offensive game with your defensive acumen that you've obviously prove that you can handle both. But it's not something that is really that easy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same game you've been playing since you were little, and that's what the coaches tell you at the beginning. But you know, when you get to college baseball, it's like it's a big difference. So, but now I'm kind of starting to realize that it really is just the same game, and just slow it down. But Coach Honich always talked to me about just, hey, if you're going to play shortstop, just go out there and play defense, and the offense, you'll figure it out. So I was really comfortable just playing defense. So I was like, all right, he's like, just bring that part to the team. So I was comfortable, and then working with Coach Cruz and getting stuff in the cages, and then the offense just really started clicking and just really starting to feel comfortable on both sides.
Yeah, speaking of, I was going to bring that up. You told me that over the weekend, how you had 4 home runs in high school. Part of that was because of the injury, but what's blossomed and clicked recently from your standpoint to obviously the volume of games, but what have you liked recently, this good stretch for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I hit a few home runs my high school career, just didn't play too many games, so I don't know how that would have turned out if I played a full season. But getting into college baseball, the game is different, but the pitchers definitely supply a little bit more of the power for you. So you just gotta catch it right on the sweet part of the bat, and it's gonna go. So just trying to be as consistent as I can, just hitting the ball hard on the barrel, and it'll go, and the power's just been there, I guess.
Yeah, just easy, just like that, right? So growing up down south, Astros fan, didn't want to assume anything? Or
I am a Red Sox Patriots fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's that connection up to the
my mom's family's up from New England, so I grew up in the summers staying up there, and I grew up going to Red Sox games since I was little, so I'm a huge diehard fan.
Okay, won't hold that against you too much. At least you have that natural connection. You know Brock Holt.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I do.
So did you have a favorite Red Sox, or did you get to go to a lot of games recently, or just more when you were a kid?
I haven't been recently. I haven't been recently, but growing up, I was a huge, of course, David Ortiz fan, Big Papi, and then more my position, I loved Dustin Pedroia. He's probably my idol growing up, just being a smaller guy, and just Red Sox, just growing up, I just really loved him and the way he played.
Yeah. So on the Rice Books side of things, it's not always easy for a freshman to adjust, no matter what the sport. How has that been for you, balancing the books with the ball?
Yeah, it's been fun. Everybody knows Rice, so it's definitely hard work in the classroom and keeping up with baseball, but it's been great. There's a lot of good people to help with advisors, and the teachers have been great, the professors are good, so everything's been good, and now that school's done, now we can just focus on baseball. Yeah. So that's what I really came here to do, so that's been nice. Any
favorite class or least favorite class you go, oh my gosh, I'm glad that's over with?
Let me think. Favorite class? I'm majoring in sports management, so I've really enjoyed Professor Crossey's classes and getting into sports management. Those are probably my favorites so far.
Okay. And rest of the season, you still got a lot of ball left. Kind of like I asked Drew here, from your position, what do you see as some team key essentials here down the stretch? Because you're so close in a lot of these games.
Yeah, like Drew mentioned, I think if we can just all click on the same page, it's either been the offense that's doing really great, or the pitchers, but we just need to all be on the same page, and it'll happen. I know sometimes it can kind of feel like it's divided, but it's gonna click, and the offense is gonna be hitting, the pitchers are gonna be throwing strikes, and I think it's gonna happen at the right time. We're gonna win some of these games up here, get into the tournament, and then at the end of the day, once you're in the tournament, everybody's 0-0. So
I like it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ben Royo. Thank you, young man. Appreciate it. Ben Royo of our Rice House. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Director of Player Development, D.C. Arendas, joining us. This is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show, and we are live here from Palace Social, the Rice Baseball from Learfield.
The lights, the sounds, the cameras, the electricity. If you can feel it, hear it, see it, chances are an IBEW electrician built it. The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great. When your next construction project needs to be on time and on budget, hire the electricians that light up Rice University. Learn more at IBEW716.net.
DoubleTree by Hilton Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites is the preferred hotel for anybody visiting the Medical Center, the Museum District, or Rice University. We offer the largest suites in the Medical Center, complete with full kitchens, and our full-service restaurant and outdoor pool will make your stay complete. We look forward to having you experience the DoubleTree by Hilton Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites soon. And if you need a group rate or 10 or more rooms, don't forget to call 713-528-7744. That's 713-528-7744.
Big trip on the horizon? Before you depart, you gotta park. The parking spot is a simpler, easier way to navigate airport parking, and you can save when you book online. You're guaranteed a spot, and we even pick you up at your trunk in our yellow and black spotted shuttles and take you straight to the terminal. Parking and saving come full circle at the parking spot. The Parking Spot, proud sponsor of Rice University. Visit theparkingspot.com to reserve your spot today.
Houston, we have a cocktail. All Hands Canned Cocktails are made with 6 times distilled craft vodka at a sturdy 10% ABV to ensure you never have to sacrifice the quality of your provisions. Now available in 6 natural flavors, including raspberry lemonade, ruby red grapefruit, cherry limeade, cranberry and vodka soda, and vodka tonic classics. Follow the adventure on Instagram at @DrinkAllHands and try these bar-strength cocktails for yourself at the next game. All Hands, damn fine cocktails. Proud sponsor of Rice Athletics.
Live at Palace Social, this is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. Now, alongside the coach, let's rejoin the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes. Welcome back here at the Jose Cruz Jr. Show here at Palace Social. I had some, they call them 10-pin taquitos, and going to throw down some quesadillas after this. They have a wide assortment of food. They got a great bar area right by us. They got the treats, the games. They've got the bowling, VR, arcade for the kiddos. You can bring them, book your next event at palacesocial.com. Coach Cruz comes back, and we talk about the week coming up, but joined right now by D.C. Arendas, the Director of Player Development of our Rice Owls. JP, D.C., how you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. What's D.C. stand for?
David Christian.
Okay, but always D.C.?
Always D.C. My dad, he was the first, so I'm David Christian the second. So instead of, I think it was easier when my mom was yelling at me to shorten it to D.C. as a kid.
For my mom, it was the other way around. When my mom got mad, it was John Paul.
I hear you. I hear you. I've been there. I've been in both.
Yeah, she'd belt it out. Us with initials, we know. So explain your path coming here as you had obviously, first off, back up to your college playing career. Played at South Carolina under Coach Holbrook. And did you always know you wanted to be a part of the game once your playing career ended?
I did. I grew up in Greensboro, North Carolina. My dad played at the University of North Carolina. My uncle played there. So I grew up in the locker room there. He's been the director of baseball operations there for 18 years. Wow. So I loved everything about college baseball. From really the time that I can remember, I associated playing with college baseball. So it was always my dream to play in Omaha. Fortunately, was able to be around a lot of high-level coaches at the University of North Carolina, and felt like whenever the day came that baseball was over for me, I wanted to do something around the game, and in large part to the impact those coaches had, in kind of my early years of life.
Yeah. And first year as the Director of Player Development, pretty basic question. What does that entail? I know it's a broad, encompassing title.
That's right. It is, and I think it means something different to each program or each organization that you're with. Here, given the timeline of when I started my role working for Rice, the main thing that Coach wanted me to focus on was developing relationships with the players, helping implement the hitting philosophy that Coach is trying to instill within all of our hitters, as well as prepare for the offensive game planning side of the opponents that we'd face. And then as we move kind of closer into the summer, the athletic testing metrics and being able to help the coaching staff evaluate different aspects of what's a high-level engine look like for us as a group, and how do we help the players improve in those areas, which in turn will help us on the baseball field.
Yeah. This recent stretch, you're doing something right because the guys have made some noticeable strides. How rewarding and fulfilling is that? I mean, yeah, it's part of the reason you came, but to see that plan in action and to guys to put it in the box score and on the field there.
It's great. I think that's what you want when you're in any kind of support role, is to help the players in the area that you're given responsibility and try to serve them as best as you can. So I'm super excited for these guys as the season has progressed to watch the adjustments they've made, to watch them experience both success and failure within that, and then the ability for us as a coaching staff to try to speak in on, hey, here's where we're going next. Keep walking with us. Because the best thing about, I think, the college model is you're able to pour into these kids daily. So it's been awesome to watch that from a number of different angles with the group, and it's been a great opportunity to serve Coach Cruz, Coach Janish, Coach Bangs, and Coach Hardy here on a daily basis.
DC Arendis joining us, Director of Player Development here on the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. Who are your earlier baseball influences? You mentioned your dad.
My dad, for sure.
But
Really everything I learned from the game was from my dad. He was a huge Yankees fan, so I grew up a Derek Jeter. I think was the obvious choice for any young kid that was a Yankees fan, but I had Robinson Cano posters in my room, so I was a huge Robinson Cano fan. Loved everything about his game, his swing, the way he played defensively. So those are the two guys that I looked up to the most from a distance, but my dad had the biggest impact on my life from a baseball standpoint.
Did you get to ever meet anybody, like obviously before coming to the coaching staff, meeting some former big leaguers, but any brushes with greatness growing up?
Now it's been cool because the guys that were, next to you every day in college, they're making it, so I would say watching former teammates make it has probably been the coolest aspect. I never really was one to kind of fanboy, but it's been cooler for me to see those guys that you were roommates with or you were with practice, going to practice with every day, to see them make it and perform at the highest level. Yeah. That's been probably the coolest part of this next phase of my life.
Do you see, obviously, next step being staying in coaching in some aspect?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I would love to stay in coaching. It's been a dream for a long time, I think, just to try to impact players in some way. Not knowing what that would look like in the early stages of it was kind of the conversation my wife and I had. Hey, we're going to be flexible. Here's how we're going to approach, year to year, based on the school. What does Rice need? How can we help most right now? And definitely would love to stay in coaching long term. It's a pretty cool setup here at Rice as well, just from the community aspect to the opportunity to work with really high level people and Coach Cruz and Coach Giannis each day. Obviously a ton of experience at the professional level that they're passing on to a place that they both love, a place that they've won at, and a place that they know really, really well. Yeah. So it's been great to just listen to the conversations here and try to provide suggestions or help as they see fit.
You've already mentioned family a bunch, and in my little 2-minute quiz with you before the show even started, you're telling me your sister actually moved to Houston. She's in the medical field. Obviously, no shortage of jobs here. How cool is that?
So both of my sisters, I've got two of them. Both of them are younger. They both went to UNC. So they went to UNC. My dad went to UNC. My mom went to UNC. I was kind of the oddball that went to South Carolina. But they both were in the medical profession. So when we moved here, my wife and I got married, they were like, hey, if we ever get the opportunity, we'd love to check out Houston. So they both have moved here within the past year. It's been awesome for them to be able to spend time with my wife. They're getting close now, and then we had our firstborn here. So they've been really influential in her early years in being able to babysit and be pretty cool aunts to her. So.
Well, a message for all of you. I'm sure you know that once you come to Texas, it's hard to leave. So.
That's what I've heard, and I can see why. It's a great place to be.
Hey, thanks for coming out. Good getting to know you, and let's keep it up rest of the way. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
DC Arendis joining us here on the Coaches Show. Stay tuned. We'll have Jose Cruz Jr. coming back up to the high table next. This is the Jose Cruz Jr. Show live from Palace Social from Learfield.
Howdy Homemade Ice Cream is here. Howdy is an ice cream shop in Katy, Texas that makes ice cream in-house and has a unique mission to employ individuals that are differently abled. Stop by and enjoy some ice cream. With every scoop you buy, you help support employment for special needs. Coming to Rice Athletics venues in the fall.
Have no post-game plans? You do now. Head down the street to Little Woodrow's in Rice Village and relax over indoor and outdoor games, sports, and drink specials that a college student can't refuse. All you have to do is bring your student ID to enjoy $2.50 domestic drafts. Also, don't miss out on our Thursday college nights, as we've got $2 domestic drafts and $3 shot specials. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on all of our upcoming events and specials. Little Woodrow's, the official Rice Owls game day headquarters.
The true teammate takes on every day with a winner's attitude, gets up when they fall down, and leaves it all on the field. There's a group of teammates who do all these things every single day. But they're more than your typical athlete. They're kids dealing with life-altering diagnoses. Team Impact pairs these kids with college athletic teams as part of a 2-year program, getting them off the sideline and into the game. The collegiate student-athletes gain a new teammate, a new friend, and a new perspective. For more information, visit teamimpact.org. Team Impact, all in, all together.
Conference races are heating up, and we've got your bases covered more than ever on College Sports Now.
We always go 3 up and 3 down, and now we're doing it 2 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday on CSN.
Take a trip around the bases with us, Kyle Schasberger, David Kahn, and Michael Serber, as we journey toward Omaha.
Breaking news, special guests, top radio calls, and more. You can find it all wherever you podcast by searching College Sports Now.
Welcome back to the Jose Cruz Jr. Show. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
One last segment here with Bixby family head baseball coach of our Rice Owls, Jose Cruz Jr. Hopefully the weather cooperates, Coach. You got the Incarnate Word Cardinals coming in with Coach Schatzberger's club. They were off this last week, but up there towards the top of the Southland standings, 1 game out of first. And like most of your midweek games, if not all of them, have been against some really quality teams.
No, for sure. No break in our schedule. We play very quality opponents, and it's good. We take pride in it, and they're going to be no different. I mean, between whoever it is that we end up facing in the midweek, whether it's Sam Houston or Lamar or, HCU gave us a run for our money on the weekend. So it was, they're all really good, University of Houston, et cetera. So they're going to play us very well. They're offensive, so they're going to get after us, and we're just going to have to be ready for this challenge.
2 really close games against the Cougars this year, and even though they took the Silver Glove, just no love lost, obviously. But man, what 2 really close games, the first 2.
No, for sure. We feel like we can compete with them. We feel like one of them got away from us, especially at Houston. So. It is what it is. No matter how we're doing during the year, we're going to play a really competitive game against each other, and it's going to be no different on Wednesday. We have pride. We won the 3rd game last year, so let's hope that we can do the same thing this year.
And I know all the focus is here now on the midweek, but playing a Western Kentucky team, Coach Rardin, they've improved. First-year coach, they've really improved a lot this year.
They were tough last year too. I remember them being more talented than you thought. So this year, I want to say they've had some pitchers. I know we had some guys in our radar that we were watching, and they definitely have come up big and have been playing really, really well of late. So they're going to be very tough to play against now. But I mean, again, for us, it's like, what do we have to lose? We go out there and give it what we have. The ball's it's bound to bounce in our direction at some point. So just keep up there, have a good game plan, attack it properly, execute, hold the lead. We hold the lead, we'll be all right. So hopefully we'll end up playing late into the game with the lead, and I think our guys are going to be up for the challenge.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bixby family head baseball coach for Rice Owls, Jose Cruz Jr. will be back on the broadcast, of course, with Coach, but coming up next week back here at Palace Social. Appreciate everybody who's been here. Thanks to Walter here, Zach back at the studio, and all of you all for coming out tonight, and appreciate you coming out each and every week. Stay tuned. Coming up, we'll be tomorrow night against Incarnate Word. Wednesday against Houston, the team across town. And then this weekend, going through Nashville on up to the nice rolling hills in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Have a great rest of this night. God bless. Go Owls, Rice fight. We'll talk to you next time. This has been the Jose Cruz Jr. Show, live from Palace Social from Learfield.
On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield, you've been listening to the Jose Cruz Jr. Show, live at Palace Social. Tonight's show was brought to you by IBEW Local Union 716. Carbach, crafted for serious fun. And by Palace Social, one of Houston's premier entertainment and event destinations, offering high-end food and cocktails, bowling, virtual reality, arcade, and so much more. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Rice Sports Network.